Okay, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be watching this video. This is Sunglass Evolution 2017, and we're going to go through a process on how to clean your rack, how to get your graphics changed, and put in the new planogram for our glasses in 2017. When we talk about the new planogram, we're talking about we're going to be organizing our glasses by lifestyle. So basically we're going to have an active sport, we're going to have lifestyle, we're going to have fashion, we're going to have trend, we're going to have metal and classic. Those are all going to be color coordinated, so you're going to be able to see that. It's going to be outlined on the rack in most of them, and on a Sahara rack or the desert racks you're going to have small little buttons that denote which trend we're looking at. Okay? So first of all, I know we've got a lot of veterans. We've got some young people that, and when I say young, doesn't mean by age, but with the company, they may have only been here a couple months. So we're going to walk through this routine and process and hopefully make it more efficient and easier to go through the overall graphics change. Okay? So let's talk about some of the supplies you're going to need. We all know what a good cleaner and a good cloth rag will do for you in the stores. Make sure you're bringing this with you. You're going to need it. Feather duster. We've all got them. We're going to be using them. We're going to be using them a little bit more, even with once we get the graphics off. Screwdrivers. You might need a screwdriver because you might have to put some hardware on. So make sure you have a Phillips screwdriver in your truck. You're going to be shipped all these other variants of items. But basically, as far as the graphics go, you're going to be getting the kits. They're going to have all the panels of a 108 in one sleeve. The difference is, previous years we had the headers inside with the panels. Now they'll be separate. So you're going to have to, if you've got a 108, you're going to have to get the panels. You're going to have to get the headers. You're going to have to get your tabs that you'll need. Also, as you're evaluating the racks, you're going to be looking at metal grids. Possibly you're missing 360 readers or regular readers. All those things will be coming maybe 5 to 10% of their stores, because you'll need some of that stuff to make the planogram complete. Scan sheets. You'll see some scan sheets, as well as some new layout pictures for the sunglasses that go in your binder. Okay? Lastly, one of the things that's probably going to be the most important in organizing and getting you ready to replace the glasses as well as the graphics are going to be these 3 8-inch bins. Okay? They're going to be sent to you flat. You're also going to get a sheet here that you can see some color printouts that you're going to have to cut out, put in the divider, and make the planogram. So as I'm going to show you now, this is side 1 of a 108. And you can see on side 1, the top panel is going to be your active sport. On the bottom panel, it's going to be lifestyle. And on those, you're going to have the old UPC as well as the new UPC that's going to kind of get your thoughts together on how the two match up. On the side, we have the old UPCs. And the reason I put them there is so that you can see how it goes back on the rack. It does match this in the middle, but as you fill this up with sunglasses, you're not going to be able to see these numbers anymore. So you can use these side panels and start looking at them as you're putting glasses back up. Okay? As I said before, you've got side 1, which is active and lifestyle. Side 2, which is the fashion and trend. And then side 3, which is metal and classic. So we'll get into a little bit later how we use these and how it will make your job just a little bit easier. So secondly, we're going to talk about how to organize the rack to get ready to do this process. And the reason I say that you want to organize the rack is you want to go through, make sure you put all the glasses in the old graphics, the holes that they should be in. Reason being, you could have 701s on 3 different sides, And if you start pulling glasses off, you're going to be spinning and going different ways. This way, if it's all organized and ready to go, you can take all your 1301s, put them in the active sport bin, boom, you're done. And you'll be doing that process later as we go through and look at it. Okay? You're also going to be looking at evaluating what hardware you might need. Possible readers, possible premiums. You might have to put in like we see on this particular rack, you might have to put in a metal grid. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to show you how to do that for those of you that haven't done it. So with that, we're going to take a small break here, and we're going to come back and then get working on the details and the process. Okay, our next step, we're going to be removing the glasses. And this is going to go back to when we organized the rack. So if we organize the rack properly on the old schematic, you're going to have your glasses in order so that you can put them into the 8-inch bin boxes, which will reorganize them for putting back onto the rack. And as I said, the number one side is going to have active and lifestyle. The 2 sides going to have your fashion and trend, and the 3 side is going to have your metal and classic. Okay, and as we stated earlier, the planogram is going to work left to right. Your single mirror where the pocket pugs go, you will start that first panel, or side 1, with active and lifestyle. That goes to the left of the mirror. To the right of the mirror, you're going to have fashion and trend. And then in the end, you will go with the metal and classic. So what we're going to do is remove these glasses. Taking the 1301s, those are active. We've got 1302s, they're going into lifestyle. Oops, no, trend, small mistake. You'll be making a few of those as you go. 1401s are metal. 1402s are on lifestyle. 1403s. If I'm looking at that is, I think, yes, lifestyle. 1404s go into trend. 1601s are metal. 1602s are active sport. 1603s, if we have them correctly, are going to be in lifestyle. And your 1604s are metal once again. Now this process, as you're going through it, you would continue to go from one side to the next side, and you put all the glasses in the assigned bins, whether it be active or lifestyle, whatever it may be. So then you have your rack totally stripped. It looks like this right now. So the next step is we're going to remove the tabs and the old graphics. And this is a pretty easy process. You pull off the tabs, reach in, pull out the graphics. Most graphics are going to come out pretty easy. One thing to remember while you're in the stores, try to condense your trash and stuff so it doesn't get out of control. As we go down, we do the same thing on the bottom. Going through the same process, pulling them off. Some may break. They've been up there a while. And then get your stuff out of the way or throw it away right now. So what we're going to have, once you do that, and you got to take out your top pieces, headers, header cards, all that stuff will be out. And then you will have your 3 different sides, boom, 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 all the way around. Now to shorten up the time frame, I've redone some of these other panels, but we're going to go through the process of what we do next. Okay? So the next process, you've got everything off. Back to the handy cleaner and duster. And for most of you, you should know dust first, because the more dirt that's on there, the more dirt's going to be in your rag. It's going to be harder to work with. So you're going to want to do a deep dusting up and down on the panels, wherever they're at. Some of you guys know you pull this out, you get some more dust going, you get the grime and the dirt out, because these little creases and cracks fill up pretty good. This is your one time to make a deep clean for the next maybe couple years. Some of you have really nice looking racks, shouldn't be a problem. So after you do all that dusting, from top to bottom, across the board, around the bottom, everywhere on the rack, you're going to get out your cleaner. Same thing, we're going to be spraying down here. You got to turn it on first. Spraying down in here, you're going to be cleaning these cracks and crevices. If you pull up the panels, you're going to get it really clean. You're going around the entire rack, you're going up and down the panels. One thing that when we do change graphics, this is the one time that you have all these metal seats that hold the glasses. They can get very dirty. Spray it on there, get it on there, clean those really well, because this is a time maybe once in a year that they're all going to be empty. We don't want our racks empty because our mantra is clean and full. So if you do that, go up and down, all around, you're going to end up having a very clean rack and ready to go for the new graphics. And as I said, this one's in pretty good shape, but you're still going to want to go up and down, in, lift the panels, do all of these bars, because it's going to make it perfectly clean. Okay? So that would be a step that goes all the way around. We would do this side, we would go all the way around the rack. All right? Sounds good. So our next step, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the layout of the rack. You've got a completely bare rack with all the graphics. And as we said, side one is going to be red and blue, which is your active and your lifestyle. And that particular side is going to be, when you have the mirror, which should have pocket pugs on it, active and lifestyle is to the left of the mirror. Fashion and trend is to the right of the mirror. Okay? So we're going to start now with installing the new graphics. And I want you to pay very careful attention. This is going to go fairly simple, but there is a trick. You got to get used to doing it and whatnot. So here we go. We're going to get our graphics. So the first thing you want to do, you can start with the center, you can start with the right or the left panel. But bottom line, if you start with either the left or the right, you're going to want to put a small crease that kind of goes right down the side of those big circles, and then on this side of the small circles. And the reason you do that is it helps it seat better in the rack itself. And there's a little thing that I just made up: place, push, and slide. So if you're on the left side, you're going to place this panel in here. You're going to push that top in, push it in from the side, and then you're going to slide your finger down, which makes the panel go in and is set. What you want to look is to make sure both the big holes and the small holes are aligned. So that was a pretty easy deal. Let's take a look at the centerpiece. Same thing, you don't have to put a crease, but you place that in the middle. Across the board, you do a slide, double check, see if you've got it in, make sure the holes are set up. Okay, now we go to the right panel. Once again, if you're new, the small brown spot and the big goes on the top, the small goes on the bottom. Once again, you do a small crease on this. You're not going to hurt it. Looks like it's making it look bad. Now on this side, instead of place, push, and slide, you're going to do place the panel, and you're going to pull, and then you're going to slide. And once you do that, that'll put that right in there like that. Your holes are aligned. So the next step, and you can either do this after or before, but right now we're just going to keep it simple because we're going to go through 2 more processes. And you put your tabs in. And if you got the holes lined up, as we talked about earlier, they should be in perfect position. And you just punch them in. And this process will pick up as you get, once in a while you got a stubborn one. It'll give you a little bit of trouble because the cardboard might be just a little bit off. And you put that in there like this. Now for the young guys, and I mean young in age, this is where you have a much better advantage than the old guys because it's harder to get down here on the ground. But we're going to go through the process 2 more times. Bottom line, left and right panels, you're going to put a crease between the small holes and the big holes. You place that in, you push, and you slide. And you'll kind of hear it crease and crack, and you know what? See? There's a... Do you think I did that on purpose? I might have. I put the short end in the top, so this one really should go over here. So, and you find that out pretty quick because the holes don't align. So if we do it on this side, boom, we're done and the holes are perfect. We got the center, once again, the big piece at the top. Line it in. Hit it a few times, drop it down, you're good. We take this left side, a small crease between the big holes and the little holes. If it's left, it's place or push. If it's right, you're pulling. So you can see I put my finger in this hole here, kind of push it up against there. Then you slide your finger down as you're pushing, and that will push the panel in behind. Then once again, you take your tabs and that one's just a little bit off. There we go. Okay, so we're finishing up by putting in our last tab here. So we've got our first panel done, top to bottom. You've got the active with the red border. You've got your lifestyle on the bottom with the blue border all the way around. So now we're going to drop in the 2 header cards. And of course, as most of you know, you've got to move this top piece up a little bit to get your card in there. And we'll put our active sport on top. Put our hood back down. It's a little, there we go. And then we're going to put our lifestyle back in down on this one. So as I said, we're done on our side 1. Once again, side 1 is left of the mirror and pocket pugs. We're going to go into side 2, and we're going to do it a 3rd time just so everybody can see it. I know it's a little redundant, but once again, we have some new folks. Give them a chance to see it again. So we're going to start with the left panel. We're going to put a little crease in there. You don't have to make a big crease, just a little crease. You place it in there like that. You push. This one's getting a little testy, so every once in a while you're going to have one of these. This one, there we go. There we go. So we had to do a reverse, but it's in. The holes line up. We're going to take the right panel, put a small crease in it. So the right is push instead of, or excuse me, is pull instead of push. Put it in there, get that top piece up there, pull it over, and slide your thumb down. Now one other thing, I know that there's been guys that have used butter knives to help with that slide. It's a possibility, but if you got a good rack, it's not that tough. So you put these in here like this. We've already replaced these, the fashion and the trend header. Now we're going to put in our clear strips again. And basically, we will have a rack that is totally done. One more. And as you can tell, it's looking very clean, very sharp. So, we've got side 1, we've got side 2, and then premiums and goggles on the bottom. And then you go to side 3, which is going to be your metal and your classic. I've already replaced these just to shorten up the time frame a little bit. So now we're going to go back to our first panel. And we have our glasses in our first panel. So if we look at what we've got with the box, we put them in order. We put some 1603s and or 1602, excuse me. We got a couple 1601s. The 1301s are the third one down, and we've got a bunch of those. 1602s are in the second position. And then in the very first position, you have a premium 4, but we don't have any of those available. So as you can see on this particular one, we have 3 versions of 1301, and then we're going to have a 1202. Our 1202 comes after our 1301, and there's only 2 positions of the 1202. As we go through 2 positions, we've got 1204s that'll come next. This one, 1301, goes back up here. And we've got a 1101 goes on the bottom. Now we didn't have very many of these on this particular rack because you were missing some. So you are going to have some that are extra because they don't have that many facings. In other words, they might have had 4 before, now they only have 2. So in this particular case, if you're a pushed route, you would take and just put these anywhere. But for the purpose of the video today, let's just set them aside and we'll talk about the push versus non-push in a minute. Lifestyle. So if I reach down here and I'm going to put these in down here, I've got 1603, which bottom line are the third one. Oh, we got a broken 1603 here. That's not good. So we've got a couple of these. These are a little bit older. 1403s. We got 2 1402s and we got a 1403. 1402s. They go in this section here. This is where these boxes come in, very handy. It is tough to figure it out. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit, but it will make it a little bit easier as you go through it. I've got some 702s, which go at the bottom. And we have some 1001s that go right above the 702s. And we had 2 extra on the 702s, so we do have some extra glasses. We got a 1403, which I think we already filled right here. Okay. We have 3 extra on this group. We're going to move over to side 2. Side 2, this is going to be the easiest one to do is side 2, because basically instead of going 8 to 13, we go the other way. So we go 8 to 13 on top. So if you've got the 3s, they're going to go in there. The 5s are on top. Fours. Some of these are a little bit older. They came out of a four, 2. And as you can see, this can take a little bit of time, but you guys that do it every day are much quicker at this than I am. So I know I'm going to hear a lot of grief about that was the slowest loading of a rack that they've ever seen. and that's okay. We got a few 801s. So we are missing a couple glasses here. But as you can see, it goes 8s, 9s, 10s, 12s, and 13s. So then we drop down to the green, which is our trend. So we've got 1404s, which are on the top. And we do. This is hard because what you want to do is have a box that you can set this stuff on, and it makes it much easier to put the glasses up. 1302s. .1003s go right above the 902s. And we've got 1102s, which are above the 1003s. We've got 1003s, which we've already got 2. We don't have any more of those. And then we got 902s. So once again, we are going to have an additional number of glasses left over. So we go back to our last box, which has our metal and classic. And we had already done this, but we have some that go on the top. You've got 1604s, you got a couple rows of those, if we can undo them here. Okay. We have our 1201s and our 1401s, which or 1203s. I'm looking here. See, it's very easy to get confused. 1203s. 1203s should be on here. So 1401s. I think I put on the wrong one. As you can see, we have a small glitch. And the 1401s, I am not showing at the moment. Yes, I am. They're right after the 1604s. Okay, thank you for being patient with me. And as I said, the 1201s or 1601s, I'm sorry. 1601s, oh yes, okay, this is where actually the 1604s. Okay, these 1601s actually go underneath the 1404s. 1404s go from four pairs of glasses to just 2. So once we fill that on, you're going to have some other premiums that go in here, but we do not have any for the video type. So we're just going to leave these right here as we look. So as you go back around, you're going to be looking at the rack. We've got side 1, like I said, starts out with active sportswear. You got side 2, starts out with fashion. Remember, that is the mirror that goes in between those, going left to right, premiums, and then you go to side 3, which is metal and classic. So all of them have been changed, so you're sitting pretty good. Now in this particular case, I'm going to just show you, we did have some extra glasses left over because on the new set, some of the glasses go from a set of 4 to only 2. So if you've got any duplicates or some things that maybe you even have more than it should have been on the old set, you're going to have some left over. So with that, what do we do with these? We're going to go into the next step, because that's going to determine whether, if you're just on a pushed route, you're going to put them back on the route because you're just changing sunglasses. If you're servicing the store, you're going to take these glasses out and fill the holes with the correct sunglasses. So I do want to take the next step. So after we get the sunglasses set, all the graphics in, you're going to reevaluate your rack. You're going to take a look at it and say, what am I missing here? I've got the right set with pocket pugs, leashes, and visor clips. I've got a premium rack in here. I've got 2 sets of goggles down here. That's looking good. Uh-oh, I've got an extra mirror over here, and I've got my clip-ons. So this is where we need to install a metal grid so that we can put on readers. I'm just going to reach over here. For those of you that have not installed one of them, I'm going to step over this way a little bit. I put some screws over here to the side. And basically, you want to slide this in. As you can see, it's going to move, but you're going to want to put this flush at the top. And you're using a Phillips screwdriver. The wood is relatively soft, so these go in relatively easy. Usually you have 4 screws. I only have 3 today. And I just dropped one on the floor. So we put this one in down here. Screw it in. Good thing my cameraman is around to help me out. And you put these in and away you go. So then you'll have a grid. As I said earlier in the video, we're going to have a percentage of these grids, maybe some of the reader packages or whatever you may have needs to go in here. So as we go, I'm going to step across here. We've got our .360 readers and our regular readers. Regular readers will go on the bottom. Oops. 360s. Will go up top. And this one actually should go here. There we go. So now we have a complete 108 rack. You got new premium signs, you got the headers, you got all the graphics, and this is what we want to call the 2017 or the layout for a 108 rack. Once again, if we go back through it, active sport, lifestyle, To the right of that is your mirror, and then you've got your leashes and your grids. Or excuse me, yeah. And then you have the next one is your fashion and your trend. And then you're moving into premiums as well as goggles. Then you're over to metal and classic. And then you've got your readers, 360, regular readers, and clip-ons. And that's what you're going to look like on a finished rack. Okay? So, I wanted to go back to the pushed routes and the non-pushed routes. The pushed routes, what we're attempting to do is have the guys hit a high concentration of stores where we can get to at least 55 to 65 stores. And there could be assistance out there with your RSM or your RSS helping to get another 20 to 25 stores, maybe a couple different routes in that week. So when you look at it, if we have the pushed reps and we can get around 85 stores done for that week, if you have a route of 120 stops or 140 stops, you're well on your way to finishing. So a couple rotations, and basically you're going to be in the middle of March, and I think you'll be able to get it done pretty quickly. Okay, routes that are not pushed, we're looking at guys to get anywhere from 2, 3, maybe even 4 a day done. You got to remember there's going to be more than just 108 racks. There could be 40 counts, there could be 72s, there could be Sahara racks out there, Mojaves, various number of racks. But the idea is to get as many of these 108s done in that push period. But on the routes that are not being pushed, you know, hopefully you're going to do them every day, get 2 to 3 done, and you know, we'll assist where we can and try and get the routes done as quickly as possible. Now there's going to be 2 ways to track this, okay? You're going to see in your Android, they are going to have planograms. We've been assured that by 2.6 we should have the majority of the planograms in there. We are going to have probably, you know, 1 or 2 that maybe aren't in there, and we're going to just have to figure out what that is, and there's plenty of people to assist, get you the information you need. So let's not panic over 1 or 2. But if you've got them, on the pushed routes, when you go out and you just do them, we're probably going to come up with a hand version just to check off the stores that you did. When you come back around on the next time, you'll be in your Android where you'll be able to pull up the planogram for a 108 rack. You will see a picture. You will be able to touch on UPC numbers, and that'll automatically load to your invoice. So I could go into a lot of detail trying to describe that, but we are going to do some training sessions. Ronnie Viesco is going to take care of that for us, so we'll be doing that at the same time we're watching videos and trying to get all this stuff organized the week of the 30th. Okay? So, last thing, I want to talk about graphic differences. We've got a couple things going on here. 72 counts. Okay? This is not my favorite rack. Okay? I'm going to tell you that up front. It's very clumsy. It works just the same as the 108 as far as putting in panels. But as you can see, you're only putting in a side panel and a side panel. So bam, there's your panel. Now the key to understanding about the 72 count, you're going to see that one panel isn't just one type of sunglass. You're going to see that an active sportswear kind of blends into a lifestyle. And as we go through a couple of these, you'll see that a fashion blends into a trend. So this one's going to be a little harder to do. It's not as big. So these boxes aren't set up for that. You know, if you want to try and figure that out, but I don't think we have that many 72s out there. We've got a bunch, but you know, it's not as many as the 108s. 40 counts, I wasn't able to get that particular graphic yet, but we should have those by the time we get ready and get going. Okay? Now everybody's probably sitting in this video going, number 1, Paul, you're boring me to death, and number 2, How come we haven't said anything about the Sahara racks or the Mojave racks, or when you're talking about all of them, desert racks? Okay, the desert racks are going to be a little bit different, and one of the explanations I want to make here is that desert racks are going to be planograms in the unit in your handheld that are determined by panels. So I will give you an example. You know, if you have a 3-sided Sahara rack and then it has maybe a parallel on it, how many panels is on that rack? There's going to be 12 because there's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. That's 4, 8, 12. So that's a 12 panel. If you're in a Jackson's and you have apparel and you have electronics on one side with the panels, that means you're only going to have 2, 4, 6, 8. That's an 8-panel rack. So you're going to go into your handheld, when you look for planograms, you're going to look at it and go an 8-panel. Now, just to eliminate some confusion, remember, if you have one of those half panels on a Sahara rack, or even on a Mojave or something, where you've got that little short one, and then up top you've got goggles, leashes, and pocket PUGs, that is still considered one panel, okay? So it's still going to be a 8-panel if it's got that in there, or it could be a 12-panel. That's still considered a panel. So we're trying to make sure that we have all the correct planograms that go with a 12-panel. You could have 2 different types of 12 panels, because you could have a 12-panel with all glasses, or you could have a 12-panel that has a half break in it and has some of the other stuff. So on the Mojaves and the desert racks as a whole, you remember they used to have strips that went all the way down. Now you're only going to be put, and I don't know if you can see this. Okay, we were talking about the desert racks and what's going to be used to know what the planogram looks like. We said there was a big long strip. Now you're just going to have individual strips that go on the top of that one gold panel, and it'll denote whether it's an active sport, fashion, trend, classic, metal, lifestyle, whatever it may be. So those particular ones will be just, you pop it on, follow the planogram, and fill them in as you go. As you can see, the scan sheets that are going to be coming with your loads, they're the same thing. The planogram's lined out. It also says up at the top, active sport. It's going to give all the scan barcodes you got, and away you go. Okay, so the last thing on the desert racks, John Miller has done a video on the Sahara rack for Speedway, so there may be some information there that would be helpful. We'll make sure you have the ability to view that video also. So with that, if you do have more questions, all your RSMs, all your RSSs are going to have the information that you need. And if you run into any obstacles, you know to get on the horn and give somebody a call. And we'll get it right, we'll get it fixed, and we'll get things going. The marketing team, the warehouse, everybody's put a lot of work into this. There's always going to be some hiccups, so let's just try and make the best of it, and let's get it done. And hopefully we can get all the routes, all the stores. When I say hopefully end of April, but you know, we've got some groups that could be done before March is over. So once again, thanks to the marketing team, thanks to the warehouse. They're putting all this stuff together, and especially thanks to you guys that are out there every day getting this done. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.